Part 73. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 723. Origin of 723 Purple Flame Dragon. Yu Guangping was furious and shouted, "I fight with you." Ye Kong closed his smile and snorted, "Looking at you for the first time, I will spare your life. Death is unavoidable, and life crime is hard to escape." Suddenly, Ye Kong's powerful consciousness oppressed the past, and the rushing Yu Guangping suddenly knelt down on the ground, as if 1,000 pounds of force were pressing in his mind. Ye Kong's voice came at this time, "I'll give you some lessons. I hope you can stop being anxious, otherwise I won't kill you, and someone else will kill you." With a big wave of Ye Kong's hand, the stone lion flew up again and landed steadily at the foot of the mountain. "Also, I'm not your brother, you should be called uncle, and soon you will be called ancestor," Ye Kong snorted and walked into the gate. A scene at the gate of the iron-armed demon soon spread. Ye Kong once again became the focus of people's discussion after dinner, and became the object of fantasy for the big girls and daughters-in-law. In the harem of the iron-armed demon sect, Zi Yanlong sat alone in the large room, drank a cup of tea, and did not know what he was thinking. His purpose of calling Yekanlei is to ask clearly, how can this guy become a real fake Dan 1 year? The deity in the later stage of deification is extremely powerful. As long as he wants to see, every corner of the iron painting realm can be seen clearly, so he does not doubt that the rumors that Ye Kong has reached the pseudo-dandelion period. Surprisingly, the boy's arms were the same as himself, without turning black. "Sovereign, Ye Kong is here," the disciples came in to confess. "Let him in." After a while, Ye Kong walked in and saluted, saying politely, "I've seen Master." Although Ye Kong Gli was well-rounded for a few years, Zi Yanlong felt the gap between the two more. He sighed and said, "If you don't want to, please don't call me Master. After I accepted you, I didn't pass you on. I have taught you the exercises. Now that you've got your own cultivation, you call me Master, and I am ashamed, and, do you blame me for not saving you and Yan's family today? Actually, I got the letter from Huang Shishi's lord in advance." Zi Yanlong did not know why he explained so much. But in all the truth he said, Ye Kong couldn't stand still, and quickly laughed, "Master, look at what you said. It seems like my apprentice is deeply grieved at you." Zi Yanlong laughed, "Good boy, really has energy. I knew at the beginning that you are not in the pool." "That's nice. I didn't know who expected Lao Tzu to lose." Ye Kong despised it and said, "Master, even if you don't call me, I will come to see you." Zi Yanlong nodded and waved a finger to the chair around him. "Come, sit down and talk, we talk to each other." There was a small coffee table between the red sandalwood chairs where the two were sitting. The teapots and cups were already set up. Ye Kong Gang just sat down, and Zi Yanlong said he picked up the teapot with his fingers to pour tea. Ye Kong didn't dare to say a word, took the teapot, filled Xianlong first, then filled himself, then said with 2 cups, "Master, disciples plead with you this cup of tea." Zi Yanlong already knew what he was going to say, but pretended not to know, doubting, "Oh? What is the crime of lovers?" "The disciples have the crime of concealing and not reporting." Ye Kong knew that Zi Yanlong must be asking Ziawei. Obviously, it is impossible for this problem to get confused. In 1 year, I was promoted from mortal to Zuji, and no matter how good your qualifications are, it's impossible to take the elixir. Since you can't get over it, it's better to admit it earlier." Ye Kong said, "Actually, the disciples are the disciples of Wanjian demon section. They have already established a foundation, but they were hunted down and severely injured during the training abroad, so that they were completely lost." Ye Kong said it was reasonable, and Zi Yanlong nodded. The magic practitioners turned to the division as many as the ox hair. This point Xian Dragon did not care. He asked again, "You cultivate for the loss, you should heal yourself for training, why join me in the Iron Arm Demon? Yekong thought about the words to deal with, saying, the disciples have completely lost their spiritual power. Even if they are retrained with elixir, it will take a long time to recover. Later, I heard that this sect absorbs metallic aura very quickly. I worship Master, knowing that Master is generous, and the disciples hate to serve them, so they boldly participate in the competition and enter this practice, and ask Master not to care about it. Zi Yanlong laughed, you've said everything. I'm so embarrassed to care about it, then, hasn't Benjun become a man with a small belly? Yekong heard that, knowing that he had passed the level, he toasted it and drank it, thank you Master. Zi Yanlong nodded, and asked a key question, since you have recovered completely at this moment, you must have absorbed a lot of metal minerals, but I do not know why your arms have not changed. Maybe you are not absorbing ordinary gold and iron. After Zi Yanlong said, with a smile, he looked at Yekong with a smile and eyes. A movement in Yekong Kong, could Zi Yanlong suspect that he had amethyst? However, he still has a lot of purple jade, and today he is planning to sell a few pieces to Zi Yanlong. Master said very much that the disciples did not absorb ordinary gold and iron, but a rare purple jade. It's pretty much the same. Zi Yanlong was quite satisfied with Yekong's honest answer, he smiled and motioned Yekong to sit down, and asked another inexplicable question. Then why do you know I'm Xianlong? Yekong froze. He not only didn't know, but he didn't know why Zi Yanlong suddenly asked this. Zi Yanlong laughed and said, Benjun didn't call it that name, but at the time Benjun had just joined the Iron Arm Demon, but he just happened to get a piece of amethyst, aura in purple jade is stronger than other gold and iron. He practiced by absorbing the aura. When a large piece of purple jade was absorbed, when Benjun was out of customs, suddenly his body was full of purple inflammation, and he couldn't stop. At that time, Zhong Nei was holding a celebration and his disciples gathered. Benjun was afraid that people would know his secret and panic. Jumping up and down, like a dragon in the clouds, has since been called the Purple Flame Dragon. That was the case. Yekong now understood that the purple smoke was an inevitable phenomenon after absorbing purple jade. Fortunately, he didn't lie. It seems that people are more honest. The story of Zi Yanlong was not finished, and he said, later, Benjun finally got a chance and got a status. But the sight of spraying Zi Yan all over me also made me feel bad, and then I tried everything to buy it. A piece of amethyst is only known after a study. This amethyst has a characteristic that it will volatilize under sunlight. A piece of amethyst will soon become an ordinary stone when it is placed outdoors, so it will be more volatile when absorbed into our body. This is the mystery of Xian. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 724. 724 Sane Secrets. Xiu has this characteristic, Yekong knew it for the first time. However, his purple jade was also taken out in the sun, and he did not see it evaporate. Zi Yanlong again said, it is precisely because of this characteristic of purple jade that this thing is very scarce, and it is getting less and less. Yekong quickly took out a piece and asked, why isn't my purple jade volatile? Isn't this purple jade? Zi Yanlong took it over, his eyes suddenly flashed, and he was startled, this rune above is mysterious and profound, it must be the method of preserving purple jade that has long been lost. Where did you get it? Yekong originally thought that the runes on purple jade increased its hardness. Now it is a bit ridiculous to think about it. Xiu is so hard. What hardness should be added? These runes prevent the purple jade from evaporating. Zi Yanlong asked where the purple jade came from. Yekong couldn't tell the truth. He only made up the road. When I was chased and killed, I accidentally passed by a realm and found a dream city underground. This is in it dug inside, but there is a very powerful metamorphosis monster there, I almost can't do without it. Yekong was also worried that Zi Yanlong was going to question the place, but instead of asking, he looked at Yekong with a smile and said, "Love, I haven't taught you well these years, my deity is a real teacher. Incompetent, but, I will teach you something today." Watching Zi Yanlong get serious, Yekong stood up and respectfully said, the disciples would listen to the teachings. Zi Yanlong said, "First, what I want to teach you is that after the jade is absorbed, you must pay attention to it, otherwise there will be side effects." Ah, Yekong was surprised, he didn't expect to have any side effects from absorbing jade. Zi Yanlong laughed, "Presumably you always wear clothes when you emit purple smoke in the body in the sun, then wrong, where those rays are not illuminated, the elements of purple jade will stay in your body and it will fester in a long time. It doesn't matter what you do and what medicine you eat, so the best way is to take out the sun for a few hours in the light as soon as possible." "Thank you, Master," Yekong hurriedly salutes. These words are all from the experience of Zi Yanlong. If you don't tell yourself, you will be unlucky, so Yekong's thanks is sincere. Zi Yanlong waved and said, "The second point I want to make is that there is a better and cheaper way than Ziu. If the arms are not black, and they can absorb metallic aura quickly and in large quantities, it is best the method is to hunt and kill the golden iron beast or other metallic monsters, and practice with their monsters. Golden iron beast is much better than Ziu, cheaper and better." Yekong really learned a lot today, and his dislike of Zi Yanlong has subsided, but he somewhat agrees with this master. Zi Yanlong took out a jade card, handed it to Yekong, and said, "This is the absorption method that Banjun has figured out. Banjun can only pass on you." Yekong hurriedly saluted, and his heart couldn't help but be moved. No matter how Zi Yanlong used to treat himself, at least now he looks like a master. Zi Yanlong laughed, "Don't be so excited. In fact, this monk is also for himself. Seeing that the day of ascension is getting closer, I can't take this thing up, right? The name of the jade arm still has to be passed on, practice well, and strive to become the jade arm of our iron arm demon as soon as possible. Yekong is a straight man. If someone presses him, he will fight you. If others are good to him, he can't help repaying." He didn't want to remind Zi Yanlong originally, but at this moment, how can he survive? "Master, don't soar. That's just the demons." Before Yekong had finished speaking, Zi Yanlong immediately scolded and interrupted, "Nonsense. You are dead." "But. Don't talk nonsense." Zi Yanlong stared at Yekong, stood up quickly, raised his hand to put up a restraint, and then pointed at Yekong and whispered, "Did you know? Last time you stopped Xianxia from flying in public, already noticed. If I hadn't confused you, you wouldn't know where to go now." Yekong looked at Zi Yanlong's expressions and movements, and already guessed that Zi Yanlong must already know something. "Master, who cares about me? And it really can't rise, that's the trap of the devil. After you go up, you have no freedom, you will regret it." Zi Yanlong sat on the chair and sighed, "Since the last time you stopped Xianxia from rising, I have been at ease. After the contest, I asked about it, and I really found the clue." Zi Yanlong threw out another jade camouflage. Yekong glanced into God, the content was vivid. In 15,200 Yunyeo, King Suwei of Wanhua demon refused to ascend, and was executed by Saint Demon 10 days later. In 15,325, Yunyao, the goddess of the male demon Lord Huanghong refused to ascend, and was executed by the holy demon 10 days later. At the same time, his apostles were also executed, and his disciples totaled 15. In Yunyeo 15,723, the Shuiyuan realm collapsed. Once the entire territory was destroyed, the formation was broken, the ground receded, and no one survived, it is said that the rumors that cannot be ascended circulated in its territory, which caused the anger of the holy demon sect. Yunyeo 15811. Yekong looked at the ground in shock. This holy demon had made it clear that the devil's running dog is also the manager of Yunyeo, and Yunyeo is the back garden of the demon. They need resources, women, the slaves are all from Yunyeo. Zi Yanlong sighed, as if a lot older, and he said, I didn't know it before. It turned out that Saring was such a big conspiracy, but even if it didn't, it would be even worse, and it would hurt others. Zi Yanlong sighed again, working hard for thousands of years, and finally turned into a slave, making it uncomfortable for anyone. Can no one escape this fate? Yekong indignantly. Yes, Zi Yanlong said, but then he shook his head again. Unfortunately I can't. I heard that many monks know the inside story. They have been incognito since the infancy of the Yuan dynasty. Among them, the highest cultivation, some of them have reached the Mahayana period, but these people are all cultivators, or deliberately cover up their identity, not to be noticed by the holy demon sect, and I have been noticed by them. I can't escape but only soar. Then there is no other way. Zi Yanlong shook his head. No. He said again, after I rise, you will leave quickly. There are a lot of people who hate you in this realm. Maybe as soon as I leave, someone will take your affairs to the holy demon section. You will leave early. As well. But master. Zi Yanlong shook his head and smiled bitterly, even if you stay, what's the use? If you really want to help as a teacher, practice well, Zi Yanlong said here, his eyes eagerly, staring at Yekong. Don't be in the limelight. Don't stop others from soaring. Don't tell all this. Anonymity. Work hard. Wait until you really have the strength to fight against them, wait for you there as a teacher. Zi Yanlong's hand was patted on Yekong's shoulders again, and Tong Ling's eyes were full of expectations. Can you do it? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 725. 725 leaves empty depressed. Coming out of the iron-armed demon sect, Yekong's mood was a lot heavy, and he had another responsibility on his shoulder. In fact, Zi Yanlong said that he really couldn't do it. He wouldn't remain anonymous, and it is estimated that he could not keep a low profile. However, looking at Zi Yanlong's attitude at the time, he couldn't really say not possible. However, it is necessary to eliminate the demon in the future, but the most important thing now is to return to Kangnan. Think about those guys in Kangnan, and don't know how lucky to be born in Kangnan. Originally I wanted to sell some purple jade to Xian Dragon, but now it seems unnecessary. Xian Dragon is going to be a human slave, and I want Zio to make hair? Well, in fact, you can borrow money from Zi Yanlong. Forget it, let's talk to Huang Shishi. Buddies are more powerful than men. Opposite the iron-armed demon is the picture demon. Yekong walked to the gate of the mountain and was blocked by the female disciples. I'm Yekong, don't you know me anymore? I'll go to see Lord Huang. The female disciples also saw that someone had an ambiguous relationship with their suzerain, so some disciples went in to report, but did not expect that the woman was pumped with a big mouth, and ran back cryingly, saying that the suzerain was busy there and let Yekong go. People. Yekong is depressed. You said that Huang Shishi was too ruthless. What was your attitude when you used me? What attitude is it now? If you do NTC it, do NTC it? You also wrote a mouth of the letter. Did NTU hit me? Yekong was extremely depressed, extremely depressed. It is naive to scold yourself in the heart, thinking that Huang Shishi liked him, that he was different from others, and that. Treat yourself as a treasure. In fact, people are playing with you. It's stupid enough, you think you are holy. Yekong was really mad. The more he wanted to get angry, the more he scolded himself as he walked. On the way from the front of the mouth and belly, I did not notice a pair of father and son standing at the door. Dad, look at it, Yekong, he has fake Danjiu for it, Lin Jinwei was surprised. This kid isn't that simple. Fortunately, he didn't blame him. Lin Zishan suddenly thought of something, and said in a hurry, no, this kid is out of customs, he won't come to us for nothing. Lin Jinwei smiled bitterly. Dad, the last time you told him to eat for a month, he ate for 5 days. Even if he came back for 25 days, we have to wait. But watching Yekong pass by, Lin Zishan was puzzled, and raised his ears to hear. He didn't come, who was he mumbling about? Lin Jinwei said, shall I ask him? Don't, Lin Zishan hurriedly stopped, pulling his son to the side, and said, don't go to trouble, that guy is a hooligan, who knows if he intentionally caught our attention and waited for us to take the initiative. This is a rogue habit technique. Lin Jinwei nodded quickly, onions are tender and is old and spicy. My appetite for the sect of magic is true. Dad, you are too clever. I always adore you. Lin Zishan laughed proudly and patted his belly. Of course. Do you think your father's belly is full of oil and water? I tell you not. Lin Jinwei smiled, not oily water, but bad water. Lin Zishan almost fell over and rewarded his son with a brain jump and cursed, are you talking about dad like this? What bad water is experience? Yekong returned to Yan's house, but Yan Shuai was still not sober. Yekong saw that the sky was already gloomy, so he had to go back to the house to practice. Sitting cross-legged in the quiet room, Yekong sinks his consciousness into the sea. I saw that the 5 colored cyclones in the sea of air were basically balanced, and the 5 elements of the 5 elements, like the 5 elements, were turning at a constant speed without any haste, as if the engine was idling. If you say the metaphor of the engine, Yekong really feels very well matched. The spiritual cyclone in the sea of gas is not just an engine that constantly transfers and continuously outputs spiritual power to provide power for its actions. He has already completed the foundation, and the 5 spiritual powers have reached their maximum. Suddenly he was looking forward to it again. What will the cyclone look like in the future? My next step is to have a buddy. What kind of scene will be here after the buddy? Yekong rummaged out of the jade camouflage from the storage bag, Wudenhua infantry Dafa. Although it is a faculty of transforming babies, it is necessary to start practicing cultivation from Jidan. Yekong sinks his consciousness and reads it carefully. When he was reading in the past, he was a young monk during the refining period. He didn't understand the methods well, but now when he looks at it, he has a different feeling. According to the records of the Jade Cambodia of the Wudenhua Infant Dafa, practitioners of this meditation will have to complete the budding 5 times in order to finally complete the budding. Unlike other monks, there will be 5 golden buddies after they are born. This is quite a cow fork. If a monk must be a motorcycle, he only has 1 engine, and he has 5 engines in it. This can't be compared. Whether it is more than power or speed, of course, 5 are much larger than 1. But a motorcycle with 5 engines, is that still a motorcycle? Yekong couldn't help laughing. Actually, the best thing about Wudenhua baby Dafa is not the budding period, but the later practice. According to the description on Yuki, when the UN infant period, the 5 golden dandelions will turn into 5 UN infants. This is another amazing pioneering work. Think of others who have an incarnation outside their body, it's incredible. There are 5 incarnations inside Lao Tzu. And this is not the most important thing. The most important thing is that when the state of integration after refining is virtual, the chance of success is also 100%. In fact, there is a significant feature of the fit period, that is, there are avatars outside the body, which can absorb the avatars, merge them into one, and improve their strength. It is also normal to think about it. Before the ascension, fit is also necessary. For example, if the subject of a monk can soar, but his incarnation does not meet the conditions, then after the ascension, there will be an embarrassing situation in the fairy world and a human world. The law is up. Therefore, the state of integration is necessary. When the monk arrives at the state of integration, if there is no avatar to say, if there is an avatar, it must be fused. But having said that, the monks after integration are nearly twice as powerful as those who are not. But the fit is also dangerous. After so many years, some incarnations have already realized the consciousness of autonomy. It is very difficult for the master to merge with each other. However, Wuden Hua Dafa will not. When 5 UN infants are combined into one, the strength will not be doubled. After watching Yu Chan, Yekong was full of confidence after thinking about it. Rest assured, the 5 elements are scattered. I will definitely learn the exercises you left. I will complete the mission you left. And the secrets you left, I will solve them all. In short, everyone is from the earth, yet will never lose face to the earth people. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 726. 726 stole half a day. The next morning, the sun shined bright through the iron painting outside the formation method. Although the sky was not so blue, it was red and moving. After coming here for a long time, Yekong did not feel the sky strange. Out of the room, I just met Xianxia who got up in the morning. Xianxia lost her drink yesterday and didn't know what she said. She was embarrassed to see Yekong, but instead of mixing with Yekong as usual, she blushed away. Yekong thought about what he was going to tell her, and he didn't catch up, so he decided to go back and tell her again. And now, Ye was anxious to sunbathe. When he came to a place in the backyard, he called Yanfu, and asked him to drive out all the servants and maids in the backyard. Good boy, dare to peek, get out of me. Yekong kicked a frog by the pond down the river, and then he sat comfortably on a big rock by the pond and felt the sun shining. At this time, the sky was soft, the wind was fluttering, the pond was sparkling, there were 5 colored small fishes playing under the light, there were water lotuses on the water, and colorful butterflies flying from time to time. Everything was harmonious and elegant. The lake is surrounded by green trees and red flowers, dotted with pavilions and small bridges, and there are rockery and strange stones. Even a vulgar person can't help but admire the intoxicating scenery. Yekong relaxed and lay down in a large font, comfortably anxious to hum. Pillow your arms on your head, close your eyes, and sigh for a long while. It's a real steal. Unexpectedly, at this moment, a woman's laughter rang above her head. Ecchi was really literary, and a sentence was stolen for a long time, and then she came out of the mood at the moment, admired by poetry. Yekong looked up, and it turned out that this woman, Huang Shishi, was flying in the sky with laughter. Obviously, Huang Shishi scared someone and felt very fulfilled. She giggled endlessly. Boy, you're also ashamed. When Yekong looked at Huang Shishi, she thought of her passion for herself yesterday, and she got angry. Hello, Lord Huang, I said you were BT in your heart. I peeped at my cave room that day and today I secretly watched me sunbathing. You are a peak. You are really sick and you are cured. What? Huang Shishi descended, stood next to him, and laughed. Don't be angry, my sister is not here to pay you, it was really busy yesterday. For all the years Zhu Lingfei has been in Zhongli, there are still many party feathers, and there are still many people sympathize with her. I was in a bad mood yesterday. If you are in a bad mood, just give me a face. Yekong slanted her and asked, you can't go. If you don't go, I can take my hand away. Without telling you, my purpose today is to expose my body. I won't stop the business for you. Huang Shishi's face flushed slightly, and she said, "Take it away. I haven't seen you as an elder sister." "Well, why don't you go to the pavilion over there and talk in isolation?" Yekong had to compromise when he met such a big sister. "Huh, can't you see your mother when she's like this?" Huang Shishi snorted, flashing into a small pavilion not far from the side of Yekong. "Is that all right?" "Okay, okay." Yekong said, "Even if you were busy yesterday, you shouldn't slap a messenger, aren't you in the face of someone like me?" Huang Shishi snorted and said, "You can't blame me, because the disciple doesn't have long eyes. The guys in zone are telling me that I'm not clear with you, so she came in and reported so that I couldn't leave the stage. As if I really have something to do with you, I only slapped her to show my innocence." "Why? You feel bad?" When Yekong heard this, he understood the cause and effect of the incident, and it was hard for him to blame Huang Shishi. "I listened to Huang Shishi and said, if I am not good for you, how can I give you Zulingfei and the 14 base building real people? Do you think Mo Lao and Xiao Yingying are so generous?" Yekong suddenly realized that Mo Lao and Xiao Yingying had originally given the scrolls of the dozen disciples to themselves under the instruction of Huang Shishi. Knowing this, Yekong had eliminated all his ill feelings for Huang Shishi, but was quite moved. "Sister Shishi, I blame you wrong," Yekong said. Huang Shishi turned her face and shouted, "You, get angry with my sister for a little disciple." The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 727. Accompany me to God. Huang Shishi said angrily, "Smelly boy, today you showed me what I shouldn't see, should I be compensated?" Yekong was funny. "Sister Shishi, you are too rich. Besides, it seems that it is me who suffers. I didn't ask you to see it. You should compensate me." "When you want to see me," Huang Shishi replied indignantly, "I'm here to see you today, but there is something serious." Being serious, Yekong thought Huang Shishi had come to apologize to himself. "Of course there is business." Huang Shishi felt that it was very uncomfortable to yell at such a gap, and she suddenly moved to Yekong again after a teleportation, and then she sat down by the long skirt behind her legs. "Relax, I don't look at you." Huang Shishi really didn't look. She was sitting on the stone, holding her legs, resting her chin on her knees, and her eyes were looking up at the sky. Her movement at this moment was like a little girl staring blankly at the sky. Huang Shishi's clothes were neat, but Yekong was slippery. He was still very uncomfortable. He only urged, "There is something serious about this time, you say it? I'm going to mortals, feeling the warmth and coldness of the world, experiencing old age, sickness, and death, and finding my own divine mood. The divine mood is the divine space, which is a magical power unique to the divine monk. However, the space of each monk is different. The space like Lu Junro is music, while the space of Li Chinayu is poetry and painting. A monk with a great consummation who wants to become a must find his own artistic conception space. Living among mortals, the next life is not found. At the same time, this period of life will also increase the monk's perception of life. The human relationship between mortals is warm and cold, and the world is full of feelings. It is very beneficial to feel the monk's mood. There is a saying in Yunyeo, seeing that the world is so cold, Fangshi is a god. It's about monks turning into gods. Yekong suddenly thought of something that he had heard before, and said, "Sister Shishi, I have heard of a kind of fruit. After eating it, I can experience the reincarnation of the ninth in the dream." Huang Shishi laughed, "You also know the 9 fruits. This fruit is also known as the god of fruits. Basically, it is effective. If you can't find your own image of God after the 9th century, this monk can die. No wonder Zhang Wu's family died tragically. It turns out that this fruit is really valuable." Yekong nodded. When I first heard Zhang Wu telling a story, Yekong didn't feel much. He even thought, is it necessary for such a door-breaking event to occur for the fruit of a tree? It now seems that these 9 fruits are truly extraordinary, which can make Yuanying's great monk's conversion rate reach 100%, oh my god, how much does this one cost? Looking at the changing expression on Yekong's face, Huang Shishi was surprised, must you have 9 fruits? No, eldest sister, Yuan Zhenjun can't get anything, how can I be a little real human being? Can you use your brain, big breasts? You're stingy, my sister won't take you for nothing. I can trade things for you, Huang Shishi seemed to think he had. Yekong smiled bitterly. I really don't have that thing. I'm surprised. Why do you think I have it? If I do, it's very abnormal. Huang Shishi laughed, let us come, I know you have a lot of secrets. If you do, I am not surprised at all. Even if you say you are the master of the clan, I am not surprised. Yekong fainted, how do you know that I am the master of the Shadow clan? You, just joking with you, saying you're fat, you'll catch your breath. Huang Shishi hit Yekong with his arm in a fit of temper. In addition to distracting thoughts, Yekongman asked, so Sister Shishi, what are you doing today? Huang Shishi quickly looked back and said, in fact, monks are mixed with mortals. The best thing is to be in them but not to participate. That is to say, although I live in mortals, I do not want to change their lives. In the same way, watching their lives and deaths, but I'm afraid that sometimes I can't see them anymore, I will shoot, and I will use my power to help them. Yekong asked, what would happen if I shot? It's hard to say, maybe no consequences, but it's also possible that this life will be in vain and you have to change places. If you are known by those mortals as a monk, you will worship me and let me. I can't pretend to be a mortal. Even this will usher in other monks and me fighting, Yang and mortals. Yekong nodded. Then you can hardly hold back your shot. Huang Shishi muttered like a little girl. But I'm afraid I can't help it. It's a bit troublesome, but, what are you running up to me for? Because I want you to accompany me to deify. Yekong Long Clang fell on the stone. I thought about it, you accompany me to deify, and when you need to take a shot, you take it, and when I am bored, someone will accompany me to relieve boredom, so, for me, this is the best choice. You really do dream fart and think of good things. Yekong shook his head quickly. I'm sorry, Sister Shishi. This is not a good choice for me. Without telling you, I will leave here soon to do my own business. Ah, Huang Shishi didn't expect that he was unwilling, and said angrily, as long as I'm willing to do it, there are many men who want to go. Then you're looking for someone else, I really can't help you. Yekong hurriedly quit, NND, I'm full of food and help you to deify you. You are a lifetime for decades, and you will be a 3rd generation. Damn, my grandson will be hung up in Kangnan. No, absolutely not. Huang Shishi said, why are you so stupid? I mean, we can pretend to be a couple, and then go to a mortal to open a small shop, do a small business every day, and then we grow old together. Isn't it fun? If there is not enough life, we will change places and identities. Yekong didn't wait for her to finish, then shook her head. Sister, you can play by yourself. I'm really fine. I'm very busy. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 728. 7 to 8 were raised. Huang Shishi didn't believe he was very busy. He felt that he hadn't explained clearly and was not attractive to the boy. So Huang Shishi deliberately stretched his waist and groaned softly, I've been sleepy in the sun. Sister, you really kill yourself. Yekong is looking straight. Huang Shishi looked at his eyes confused, giggled, and threw another charming white eye, and whispered, at that time, we, are really like couples. She said nothing, but the meaning was obvious. A female monk who is about to become is in love with you and gives you all your body. You should be willing. But Yekong swallowed and vomited, took his eyes back, and sighed, Sister Shishi, it seems I'm going to let you down. Although Yamao is greedy for money, but he can't promise you, Yamao just wants to return home, where my relatives, my lover, my friends, I must go back, and no one can stop me from going home. I can go back with you. I don't know yet the way back. Yekong shook his head, you can't go, he finished, and said, Sister Shishi, why do you think of me? I can't cultivate, I'm so impulsive, I can't even get angry, really, how good are you to find those men from before? What was the previous man? Huang Shishi was furious. What do you think of me? When I break my shoes? Tell you, I don't have a man yet. Ah, Yekong looked at Huang Shishi in surprise. That way, I can't change the spirit with you, Sister Shishi, let's make it clear, someone in my hometown is waiting for me, and I must quickly find a way to go back, including my mother, they are mortals, they can't wait, you understand? The sincerity of Huang Shishi when he heard him only nodded, and thought again and asked, if you can take me back, can you take me, just right, I just want to live with mortals. Yekong nodded. Unexpectedly, Huang Shishi said, otherwise, you'll find a way for you to go back. I pretend to be my mortal. We can go together, and we can help each other when things happen. This. Yekong opened his mouth and wanted to refuse, but thought about it and agreed. Yekong didn't know how to go back. If you had a beautiful colleague, that would be the best. Huang Shishi thought he was going to refuse again, and quickly hugged his arm. Jiao said, can't you agree? Okay. Yekong agreed. Huang Shishi was a little embarrassed, and let go of Yekong's arm, and shouted, shit boy, please work hard, my sister, I don't know shame. After Yekong knew she was a virgin, she sighed in her heart, knowing that Huang Shishi was not just playing with herself, but was sincere, so she took a lot of initiative. Yekong stretched out his arms around Huang Shishi's waist, and laughed, how can it be shameless? If you don't know shame, it should be me, in the face of such a beautiful elder sister, she didn't even wear anything. Huang Shishi yelled, little hooligan. Yekong laughed and let go of Huang Shishi. Take out a few pieces of purple jade and say, Sister Shishi, actually I went to you yesterday for help. I want to use these to exchange 2 million spirit stones with you. The minimum estimate of this piece of purple jade in the market is about 50 won, I'll take 4. Tell my sister what these are doing, Huang Shishi said angrily, then took 300 top quality spirit stones from the storage ring and threw them directly to Yekong. He also asked, enough. Yekong always thought Huang Shishi was shrewd. I didn't expect her to be so generous, and she couldn't help but feel happy. I didn't think I had the potential to be a duck. Iron hens can pluck hair for me. A lot more, Sister Shishi, you are giving me away in vain, I am embarrassed, Yekong said, embarrassed. Who said free to you? Conditional. Yekong fainted, it turned out not to be free, Huang Shishi was so smart. Huang Shishi laughed, this is my covering fee. From then on, you must get my consent for everything you do, especially for women, and I must get my approval first. After Huang Shishi finished speaking, Lu Mei picked one up and felt something, and said quickly, someone is here. I'll go first. 3 days later, you decide where you want to go. After Huang Shishi finished speaking, a teleportation disappeared without a trace. Yekong smiled bitterly with the spirit stone, but he couldn't think of being inexplicably taken care of by others. Then I heard Yan Shuai's voice outside, Brother Yekong, what are you doing? Xianxia originally thought that Yekong wanted to talk to her. I didn't expect that she didn't come all morning and asked the housekeeper that Yekong was hiding in the backyard alone. Xianxia could not rest assured, and here she was. Wait a minute. Yekong quickly put on his clothes. As soon as Yekong got dressed, Xianxia came over and sucked her nose. As soon as she came over, a woman's fragrance. Yekong hurriedly said, "Maybe the girls have been sitting here for a long time, are you coming to see me?" Xianxia said quickly, "I heard that you are leaving, and I want to ask for time." "Oh, 3 days later." Xianxia nodded and wanted to leave, but was stopped by Yekong. "Shuhui, wait a minute, I have something to tell you." Xianxia bowed her head and flushed suddenly, "I have something to tell you too." The two came to the small hongqiao on the pond, which was not high and floated on the water. The hongqiao is built of wooden strips. From the gap between the wooden strips at the foot, you can see various small fishes chasing after each other. "Shuhui, you are also the root of the spirit?" Yekong asked, holding onto the railing. Xianxia froze, her red face suddenly turned white. She was most afraid of people mentioning this, but she did not expect Yekong to say this. "I know my qualifications are poor. I know you all look down on me." Xianxia turned away. "No, I didn't look down on you." Yekong quickly took her hand and pulled her back. "I don't want your sympathy." Xianxia struggled hard. "Hey, listen to me, what are you excited about?" Yekong only hugged her hard. Finally controlled her, but her posture was ambiguous. Yekong leaned back against the railing, his arms clung tightly to Xianxia's easy folding waist, and his feet caught Xianxia's two long legs. "You listen to me. I am not making fun of you or sympathizing with you. I am also a root of lingering spirits. I have also received many white eyes and many rejections," Yekong said loudly. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 729. Accept a female apprentice. Xianxia stopped struggling. There were some tears in her big eyes. She was afraid that Yekong laughed and wept. She turned her head and looked at the distance. "What do you want to say?" Yekong moved to a more comfortable position, but his arms still hugged Xianxia tightly. He was intentional, but thinking that he would not be able to hold Xianxia like this in the future, he decided to hold it a little longer. "Shuhui, thanks to your family to save me this time, I can't afford to save my life." "And?" Yekong wanted to know your grandfather, but what did he say? "Everyone is dead." Did it make them sad? So Yekong said again, "In short, I can't finish the graciousness of your family. Look at me, it is also the root of the spirit, but I have also succeeded in building the foundation, and I will also have to form a dan in the future. If you can't practice, don't be discouraged, the key question is to find the right exercises, and I just have such exercises. Hey, do you listen to me?" In fact, Xianxia didn't hear anything at all. For the first time in her life, she was held by a man like this. She looked at the flower tree in the distance, but her heart was pounding. "Listen to listen." Xianxia hurriedly converged. Yekong nodded and continued, "So, I want to ask if you would like to be mine." Xianxia heard this before, and thought that someone was proposing to marry him. She was overjoyed, and her daughter's shame was put aside. She said, "Yes. I do. What have you been willing to say before I said it?" Yekong froze. "That's good, you will be my third apprentice in the future." This time changing, Xianxia fainted, "Do you want me to be your apprentice? You take me as a disciple, why are you holding me? Is there anyone like you who apprentices?" Xianxia was unhappy now. "No, I won't be your apprentice. You hear me say no, my exercises are best suited to the roots of the spirit, I promise you can ascend." "Guaranteeship." Xianxia's eyes brightened, but then darkened again. "No, I still don't." Yekongki said, "Why, so good, Why don't you learn it? Xianxia wants to say, I want to practice, but don't be your apprentice. However, she couldn't say. It was not easy to guess the heart of her daughter's family, so Xianxia struggled again. Yekong froze and immediately said, you promised, that's good. However, now that he has become a master, it is not so good anymore. Yekong looked at a buttoned shirt and finally let go of his hand. Xianxia took a sigh of relief. While buttoning her shirt, she said, you can be an apprentice, but you must promise me that you will come to see Taihu Harem in the future. Yekong blinked his eyes, suddenly realized, and laughed now, Shu Hui, please rest assured, if I can, I will come back. Xianxia was worried that he would not return, and now he was happy to get his answer. Xianxia said, also, when we are together, we don't compare ourselves to masters and apprentices. What proportions then? Xianxia blushed and bit her lip. So what do you call me, what do you call me? Yekongki said, what did you call me? I don't understand. What do you call me? Xianxia was ashamed and said a husband. She wanted to run away. Yekong knew her mind and made her play, and pulled her again, don't go, you haven't passed on the skill yet. Yekong took out the blank jade greeting card, printed a copy of the 5 Elements Ascension Sutra to Xianxia, and wrote down the main points in the practice. Finally, I also printed a copy of the magic that absorbed the iron monster after the foundation, so that Xianxia can practice by herself. Shu Hui, you have to think about it before you practice. If you change the basic skills, you have to disperse all the previous practices, Yekong also said. I know, I believe you will not lie to me, Xianxia nodded firmly. Not to mention that she was in the early days of foundation building. With this method of assured soaring, even Yun was willing to practice again. Xianxia left with the exercises, and her heart was determined. Since I can soar, I will definitely practice. Only eternal life can live longer and be with you for a long time. I don't believe it. If you get along for a long time, you won't be distracted. And Yamao lamented, Laozi is really shameless, and started with female apprentices. Yekong had troubled and returned to the quiet room. Now that he has a spirit stone, he urgently needs to go to the Black Demon King to find out what it would be like. If he could go back there, it would be better. In the quiet room, Yekong started the formation, took out the black token, looked at the ghost who was laughing at him. Yekong gritted his teeth, and thought, and activated the token. After an instant, Yekong stood in the small black room again. After entering, Yekong looked carefully, and then he nodded and determined. This is the same as the betting point of Ichizo. Then the woman's voice sounded, Dear disciple number 9257, welcome back to the Black Demon section. This sect will provide you with the highest quality and considerate service. No matter what you need, this sect can satisfy you. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 730. 730 Again into the black suit. Dear disciples number 9257, welcome to return to the Black Demon section. This sect will provide you with the highest quality and considerate service. This sect can satisfy you no matter what your needs are. Yekong said, some questions I want to ask. The woman replied, each question is a medium quality stone. Pay first and then answer. It is only responsible for answering system questions, difficult content, material methods, finding people and things. Please go to the rewards area to post tasks. Yekong stretched out his tongue. This black magician really only recognized money but not others. He also had to give money to answer a broken question. He didn't understand anything like he had come before, so he took a middle-class spirit stone and put it in the wall on one side. I want to ask, what kind of organization is the Black Demon sect, and what is the purpose of its existence? The woman's voice answered immediately, sorry, you are asking two questions, Please put another piece of Chinese spirit stone. Ye Kong is stunned. This is too careful, right? There is no way but to put in a piece of spirit stone. When the second spirit stone was put in, the woman's voice paused, and then she said, Question 1, what kind of organization is the Black Demon? I'm sorry, there is no answer. Question 2, what is the purpose of the Devil in Black? Sorry, this question has the highest level of confidentiality, and you are not authorized to view it. Yes, 200 spirit stones are given away. Yet almost rolled his eyes. But he didn't wait for him to explode. Dear disciple number 9257, the debt you owe to this case has matured for 30 years and another 5 months. In order to ensure that you continue to use all the services provided by this case and avoid late fees causing you losses, please quickly return it. Dear disciple 9257, please repay your debt quickly. After the 2 questions just now, Ye Kong is really full of distrust of the Black Demon section. Damn, somehow I ate 2 of my top quality spirit stones. Who knows, helping Wu wonder what will happen after paying off the debt. However, thinking of this as a hope of going back, Ye Kong still gritted his teeth and said, Don't make a noise, I'm here to pay the debt today. The debt you owe, including interest and interest, plus late fees, is a total of 2,592,438 psychic stones. Ye Kong was about to vomit blood again. Isn't it more than 28 million last time? Why did it increase again? The woman's voice replied, according to your last query, it was 12 months a year, 3 months, and you need to pay more than 740,000 interest and late fees. Okay, I'll give it all. Okay, Ye Hollow said. Fortunately Huang Shishi gave himself an extra 1 million, otherwise it would not be enough to come in today. Ye Kong had to put in more than 29 million spirit stones, and then look at his hands, there are more than 200,000 spirit stones. After a while, Ye Kong was a little anxious. Wouldn't this black magician be a liar? Damn, what if there is another property fee, water and electricity? Where can I get so many spirit stones? Fortunately, without the mess, the woman's voice sounded later. Dear disciple number 9257, all the money you owe has been paid in full, and you can use all the services of the Black Demon section. However, given that you had a bad credit record last time, your loan function will be limited, knowing that this case has contributed accordingly. I didn't expect that the Black Devil sect also had a loan service. It was quite comprehensive. It is estimated that Wu used this service. Then you talk about, what are all the services of the Black Demon? Ye Kong asked again. Each question is a medium-grade spirit stone, which is paid first and then answered. It is only responsible for answering system questions, difficult content, material methods, finding people and things. Please go to the reward area to post tasks. Ye Kong had no choice but to find such a place where money was needed. The woman's voice replied, your question is the content of the Black Magic Demon service that you can currently use, and the answers are as follows. First, you can enter this trading venue to conduct transactions. Second, you can post and accept reward tasks in the reward area. 3, you can consign items. 4, you can place bets on all gambling in this case. 5, you can enjoy all kinds of information shared by this case for free. 6, you can use the delivery service provided by this case. Ye Kong heard the joy here, the delivery service. What he needed was the delivery service. Then I would like to ask. Ye Kong would like to ask where can I send, but think about asking 80% of this and then charge. So he changed his words and said, then I need to use the delivery service now. Instantly, the wall opposite Ye Kong lit up, and the liquid on the wall surface quickly formed a font. Recording coordinate 8.1, Taihua Jing, 1425, 1960. Recording coordinate 8.2, De Rai Jing, Dacian tilt, has disappeared, cannot be transmitted. Recording coordinate point 3, empty. Recording coordinate point 4, empty. Recording coordinates 5, empty. Obviously this is the coordinate point that has been recorded, and the first coordinate is estimated to be the Yan family, the second coordinate disappeared in Tiandi, and the other coordinates are not recorded. Can you just teleport to record the coordinates? Yekong asked quickly. The transmission service can only transmit to the coordinate location recorded on the record. The unrecorded location cannot be transmitted. Can I teleport to the place where I last entered the black demon? The woman's voice remained in a uniform tone and answered, the position is not recorded and cannot be transmitted. The woman's voice didn't change, but Yekong felt so cold and cruel. No, Yekong was desperate. He stared blankly at the big screen-like wall. He didn't move for a long time. There was a voice in his heart that said, forget it, don't want to go back, just stay in Yunyeo, in fact, it's not bad here. Another voice was saying, Huang Shishi was also good, with strength, looks, and money. Another voice was saying, Yan Shuai is also good, a very good girl, take her wife and have children, take root in Yunyeo, practice well, and will rise in the future. The demon always appears inadvertently. As long as people have greed, desire, and selfishness, the demon will not disappear. After a long time, Yekong suddenly smiled, no one can stop me from going back. No one can do it. My mother is waiting for me, Lu Qin Xiaohong is waiting for me, Rulan is waiting for me, Wu Yi is waiting for me, Zi Xian when I go back to resurrect her, my friends are waiting for me to give them hope, Kangnan's mixed UN sect is waiting for my revival, I give them hope, so I can't leave despair, go back. I will definitely go back. There is no way for the Black Demon sect, then I will look for other ways. I can't find it for 1 year, I look for 5 years, I can't find it for 5 years, I look for 10 years. I will find it one day. I can find it? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 731. 731 Wu Old Acquaintance. As soon as Yekong's thought came out, those demon spirits disappeared and there was no trace, and Yekong's mind became more firm. At this moment, a light spot flashed on the screen-like wall. The woman said, the distinguished disciple, number 257, and your friend, number 956, have applied to meet you. May I ask if you agree? Yekong thought about it. 80% of number 956 is Wu Wuzi's former friend. If he meets him, what if he sees that he is not Wu Wuzi, or what is the enemy or non-friend? Yekong asked, where do you meet? Is it safe to meet? The meeting place, the temporary living room, the applicant pays the fee. No battle is allowed in the Black Demon sect, and the offenders are killed on the spot. In order to avoid your actual identity being leaked, please use a code to avoid leaking any personal information to the other party. Yekong nodded, there was no danger, but he could meet each other, maybe he could also inquire about Wu Wu's way to Kangnan. The only thing Yekong was worried about was that the other party found out that he wasn't Wu Vunan himself. However, Yekong finally decided not to give up any possibility, it is better to meet each other. Yekong chose to meet, and a black hole appeared in the wall in front of him, and the black spiral in the hole became bigger and bigger, and finally turned into an arch. In the middle of the arch, a bright white channel was extended. The first time I walked this channel, it felt very scary. The white and bright channel seemed to be suspended in the void. Around the channel was the black spiral airflow. Yekong seemed to walk in the eyes of the storm in the tornado. Halfway through, Yekong knew that his previous worry was unnecessary. As he was walking, a black suit suddenly appeared on his body. This black suit not only covered him, but even blocked his face. This black coat is very strange, not only blocking your face, but also your body shape, and even the voice of your speech has changed. Even if you are the most familiar person, you don't want to see it. Yekong was not afraid of being found, and he walked more boldly. Soon, he went to the end of the passage and was an independent square-shaped house. The furnishings in the room are very simple. A large table, several chairs, and a man in black like Yekong are waiting. The man in black is also all wrapped in black. You can't see his age and appearance, even his height and body shape have been changed. From the appearance, there is no clue at all. The man in black saw Yekong come out, he was very excited, and hurried up. "I don't know, brother. You finally show up." Yekong said that this person knew the real name of Wu Wuzi instead of 9257, which means that this person and Wu Wuzi were really friends, otherwise Wu Wuzi would not tell him the real name. "Yeah, I haven't been able to pay my debts, so it's not easy for me to come in," Yekong shouted. "Haha." The man in black laughed. "Who told you to borrow so many spirit stones to buy that elixir that predicts the future?" Yekong understands this time, Wu's ability comes from a magical elixir, and that large debt is to buy elixir. Yekong is depressed. "Old Wu, although you have already hung up, but I still want to say that you are not doing such a thing. You buy elixir and ask my buddies to pay for it? What is it called?" The man in black said again, "I don't know, I can find you hard these years, but to say that hardship, your daughter-in-law, they are the pain of missing, you know, your granddaughter is Shuai. At this time last year, I go to your granddaughter's wedding. It's a fake marriage, you know, in order to avoid the disciple of the painting and sound demon, I pretend to be a marriage, but the guy is very good, I believe they should have a fate. The guy's name is Yekong." Yekong fainted, but did not expect to hear his name. "Who is this man in black? Come to attend the ceremony when you get married, and you know the inside story of the fake couple, and you are close to Wu Unknown." "You are Deng Lao," Yekong exclaimed. Deng Mingyuan, who was lingering, replied subconsciously, "Yeah, are you an old guy, are you confused? I am not on the number 9546, how do you know now?" Suddenly, Deng Mingyuan stepped back and warned, "Who are you? You don't know my brother. He would never call me that." Yekong cursed himself, really stupid. Deng Mingyuan called Wu Unknown to his elder brother, Wu Unknown of course called his brother, how could he call him Deng? Yekong was also smart and replied, "Haha, I'm going to call you brother Deng, just one brother less." How could Deng Mingyuan believe him at this moment, and said angrily, "Who the are you? Why is there an unknown brother token? What happened to the unknown brother?" Seeing Yekong not answering, Deng Mingyuan said again, "If you don't say it, I will apply to the Presbyterian Church to verify your identity. You should know that the demon Presbyterian is very cruel to the spy. Will kill you." Yekong was depressed. "I didn't expect to get to this point, so I had to sigh Den Momo, in fact, I am Yekong." Deng Mingyuan sneered coldly, "You are still lying. You just heard that I mentioned Yekong's name, and you want to impose it." "No, Mr. Deng, I am really Yekong. Mr. Deng should remember the conversation between the two of us in Yan's family room 1 year ago. Talking that day, no outsider was present, and Deng Mingyuan believed a little. Then he sat down and asked, since you say you are Yekong, then I ask you, how do you get the token of an unknown brother? Go to Yan's house again, what's the purpose?" Yekong could only tell the story, and said he asked Wu Wuzi's predecessor to ask Ning Shen Chalcedony, and then Wu Wuzi knew he was about to arrive and gave him the black token. Then he was chased, severely injured, and lost repair. He used tokens in a panic, but was forced to teleport to Yan's house because of debt. Yekong is also half true and half false. Of course, his news from Kangnan cannot be said, but he only said that Wu weren't encountered in a large area. Yekong was reasonable, Deng Mingyuan believed it, and he asked, I wonder if my brother really fell. Really, that small fishing village also died, I will definitely avenge them, Yekong said resentfully. Deng Ming nodded roundly, and then said, Yekong, I believe in you for the time being, but if I find out that you have killed some brother, I will take your life. Yekong said, Boss Deng can rest assured. I have always had clear grudges and grievances. Senior Wu has great gratitude to me. How can I harm him? This time I was rescued by Uncle Yan. The Yan family. Deng Ming nodded roundly. He had a good impression of Yekong, and the last time he talked in Danfang Night, Yekong had already spoken a bit. If Yekong had harmed Wu I do not know, how would he reveal his tone? Everyone eliminated the doubts, Deng Mingyuan became enthusiastic, and Yekong also just asked some information. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 732. Elder 7327. Of course, Deng Mingyuan didn't know how to get to Kangnan, so Yekong wouldn't ask. Yekong mainly asked him about the Black Demon. It turned out that the black-clothed monster is mainly a very hidden underground trading center, which is the black market. The name of the Black Demon is because everyone is dressed in black, and no one knows who. Deng Mingyuan said that everything is sold here, even the shadow female slaves restricted outside. But although things are good here, the price is also more expensive than outside. As long as there is a spiritual stone, there is so much more to do here. Not only can you trade and buy, you can also practice in your own room. It is absolutely safe. If you have any enemies, you can buy a killer to kill the enemies for you. As long as you can afford the spirit stone, even the princes of the late transformation can be killed. Can they be killed in the later period of deification? Yekong stunned. What realm are those killers, such a cow fork? What's this? Deng Mingyuan yelled, I also know that the devil in black is even more powerful, that is, the mustard time space, 1 year outside and 10 years inside. Yekong, a well-informed person, is also amazed, but this is the ability to change the laws of time. If a monk goes in, it is only 1 year outside, and he has been practicing for 10 years, then he can't compare it, it is 10 times faster than others. So how do you get into the mustard time space you said? You should give a lot of spirits, Yekong thought, if it is possible to go into Jadan, wouldn't that be the best thing? Deng Mingyuan shook his head with a smile. I just heard it. These things can only be enjoyed by the highest disciples in the Black Demon section. Light spirits are not enough. They must be approved by the Presbyterian Church. Opportunity. After Deng Mingyuan finished talking, he laughed again, and said, Yekong, you are also very simple. A fake Dan person can take out nearly 30 million spirit stones to help my brothers pay off their debts. It is not simple. It is not simple. Yekong sighed, it was all won in the Iron Arms Demon Zone competition last year. Alas, you do not know, Deng Lao. I won these spirits, but I was hated by all the monks in the iron painting realm. It's worth it? It's not that I am paying this debt. I would never do such a thing. Deng Mingyuan wrote, how many spirit stones are there? Would you like to go to the market? Yekong was also very interested. Okay, although I am very poor now, I can go and see what is there, which gives me the urge to earn a spiritual stone. Okay, Deng Mingyuan stood up, took Yekong to the wall, and said, cancel the meeting room and enter the trading space. Later, a vortex appeared on the black wall, and the vortex became larger and larger, and finally formed an arch. There was a passage hanging in the void behind the door. Yekong and Deng Mingyuan walked on the wide white light road, and could not help but say, this black magic demon is so magical, all the passages look magnificent, but don't you know where it is? Deng Mingyuan laughed and said, this is not something I can wait to know. I and my unknown brother have also discussed this issue before. I think that the Black Demon sect was established in Kangming, but I do know that this is based on some independence. Extraterrestrial space. Yekong thought about it and said, I don't think so. I don't think this Black Demon is real, and no space is needed to build it. This is just a virtual scene. When Yekong was talking, he had already come to the trading hall, and there were not many people in the hall. Different from Yekong's imagination, in addition to more than 10 large black stone balls, there are more than 10 people in black, very quiet. Yekong's voice seemed abrupt, which was very quiet in the trading hall. At this time, a man in black came forward and smiled. Is this Taoist friend here for the first time? I thought that at the beginning, I kept coming here. Guess the same problem. Yekong nodded and said, yes, I'm here for the first time. The man in black said again, I heard that this sect has not developed new people for decades. How did this Taoist friend join? Den Mingyuan hurriedly respected, this must be a senior. My friend is the token of his mother-in-law and grandfather who inherited it, and it is definitely not a spy to guarantee his life. The man in black waved his hand, don't be nervous, I'm not malicious, I'm just curious. Yekong laughed. Such a good trading place, everyone should like it. How can there be spies? We should develop more people to trade and prosper the market. The man in black immediately said, well, you do know the rules when you first came here. This sect was hidden from everyone's sight when it was first established, and there has been no development of new disciples for decades. Therefore, Taoist friends still have to keep secrets, otherwise it will cause fatal troubles. I heard that the highest level of this sect is the existence of transcending God. Yekong hurried to salute thanks to the seniors for reminding them. The new disciple number 9527 will be invited here, and I will also ask the seniors to carry more here. Yekong's remarks identified this person as the predecessor of the Black Demon sect. Sure enough, the man in black laughed, Dao friends are really smart, so you call me the 17th. Yekong is 9257, Den Mingyuan is 9504, but others are the 17th, apparently a Niocha character. Yekong and Den Mingyuan quickly said, I have seen the elders. The man smiled. You don't have to be like this. This sect is different from other sections. Everyone in black is equal. The elders and the lowest disciples here are also equal. On the contrary, the elders still serve the disciples. Den Mingyuan couldn't accept it. For other denominations, the disciples are respectful to the elders, and dare not be a little rebellious. How can we say here that the elders serve their disciples? But Yekong is from the earth, and it is easy to accept this view, and laughed, why so-called parents, the elders serve disciples, the key is to have a spiritual stone. Den Mingyuan squeezed a lot of sweat, but the elder 17 laughed, the Taoist is really refreshing, yes, as long as he can afford the price, the elder can also serve you. The 17 elders left with a big laugh, and Den Mingyuan patted his breasts. It's dangerous, I've been here so many times and I never met the elders. Yekong laughed. Everyone is dressed in black, even if you meet me, I don't know. Den Mingyuan was curious again. So how did you guess he was an important figure in the Black Demon? Yekong said, you and I are both disciples of the Black Suit, but they just use this as a trading place, so I say that the Black Suit is the same, and the man in black, he is one by one. Zone, obviously, he has a strong sense of identity and regards it as his own sect, so I guess he is likely to be an important person.